The weather is going to be gorgeous for those who plan to head to Springfield today for Illinois Gun Owner Lobby Day. We're looking at sunny skies, partly sunny skies, so a few clouds out there, but 52 the high. And some wind gusts could get up to 20 miles an hour, so that might make it a little breezy, so bring a jacket with you. But expecting that there could be hundreds, if not thousands, for Illinois Gun Owner Lobby Day, downtown Springfield today. And if you check out the Illinois State Rifle Association, they've got details on what's going on. They say this year will be our most important iGold ever. Illinois State Rifle Association are, among others, suing the state of Illinois over its unconstitutional ban on most semi-automatic firearms. Please take the day off and attend this event if you possibly can. We encourage every gun club, hunting club to sponsor a bus to set up carpools to iGold, and you can see, of course, some more details about what's going to be happening as far as the program. It's going to be at the Springfield Bank of Springfield Center, which is just down on 9th Street or so. Doors open at 10:30. Program starts at 11:30, and then they're going to march to the as typically is done, they will march to the Lincoln statue at the Illinois State Capitol, and they typically have that street blocked off just because there's hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of people that are going to be attending. After I get off the air, I'm going to go run to a news conference separate from this, but in the general vicinity, and then I'm going to head over to the event at the Bank of Springfield Center to talk with people and get a flavor of what's going on, follow the march down to the Capitol, grab a few voices, and we'll of course, review a lot of what happened here tomorrow morning, so you're going to want to stay tuned, and we'll have plenty of video and audio and all of that ready to go for you so that we can keep you updated on what's going on. But that's, of course, a public event that happens every year. There was a few years where it didn't happen in 2020 and 2021. You had the COVID-19 pandemic. But now that we have this ban on certain semi-automatic weapons, there are a lot of gun owners out there who have essentially not necessarily, quote, woken up, but have gotten even more active because they feel that their Second Amendment rights are being infringed upon. So you've got that in the background, and the conversations that there are in the background about the Second Amendment here in Illinois. Now, back in 2013, was it, or 2012, you had a very large outpouring of Illinois Gun Owner Lobby Day. And if you are on YouTube, you could probably see the documentary I produced back then. It's called Gun Free Zone, the movie. And it talks about Illinois getting the rights to concealed carry, which had to be done because the courts essentially forced it. And if the legislature didn't enact a certain concealed carry law by a date certain, it would have been constitutional carry. So really, I kind of documented all the arguments on both sides as to the state of Illinois getting concealed carry, and the outpour from iGold was, I think there were 7,000 or 8,000 people there that year before the law was passed and ultimately enacted. So now we've got a different set of circumstances here, an actual ban on semi-automatic weapons that's been enacted January 10th, and a slew of lawsuits. And if you've been following anything here with my channel, with the morning show, we've been tracking the state level cases where you've got one out of Macon County that's already in front of the Illinois Supreme Court, and you've got 3 other cases that have been consolidated separately that are allowed to advance forward with more discovery expected. So that's the state level side. And then in the federal side, you've got the ongoing litigation that has the latest being the plaintiffs filing their pleadings, essentially, saying that the state's violating the Constitution. And one of the ones I think is really important to just to highlight is from the Langley case. They said that the constitutional rights are not extinguished by hyperbole. And I think that's something else you probably hear a lot of, especially with another storyline in the background of all of this, and that is what happened down in Nashville with the individual going into a school and shooting students and teachers, killing them. And that's going to be in the background as well. And a lot of people are going to have to answer questions as to, well, one side says ban all guns or ban semi-automatic weapons as is done in Illinois. Why is that not the answer, right? So I think that's going to be a question that is going to be asked quite a bit of a lot of people here in Illinois, especially with possibly thousands of people in downtown Springfield. So you've got these things kind of in the background when we talk about guns and the Second Amendment and the kind of problem reaction solution that we see a lot of when it comes to lawmaking. But with the litigation in the background, what are the next steps? We talked about the state level case. You've got the federal case with the plaintiffs there, 4 plaintiffs groups combined into one case. I talked with Todd Vandermite on Friday, and he shared kind of some of what the next trajectory is for that case, especially now that they've filed within the federal courts, the final filing.
We'll go in. We've got afternoon arguments. We'll see
April 12th.
What the state may become prepared to argue. We've already seen what they filed in their briefs. They are trying to say that there is no right to, sell these types of guns. They're, if you think about what Heller says, they tried to make some sort of wiggle room around, well, we didn't ban you from possessing it. Well, only if I register it and go through all those hoops and everything else. So it's not a complete flat out ban on possession, but it's not far off. So we're going to have oral arguments in front of the judge on April 12th. We'll see if there are any funny motions that they try to claim in between here or there. Mostly it's going to be a waiting game. And not only are we waiting for the 12th to pop up on the calendar so we can get in front of the judge and ask for our injunction, but, we have the California cases that are pending out there that we could see a ruling anytime now from Judge Benitez. So we may have other judicial notice filings that, a judge in California may have found magazine bans and semi-auto bans unconstitutional. You have the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals dealing with the Maryland semi-auto ban, and if they make a ruling, whichever way the Maryland ruling goes, it goes our way. I'm sure we're going to file for judicial notice. If it goes the other way, I'm sure Kwame and Company is going to be filing for judicial notice. Then we have the Atkinson case pending at the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals about a nonviolent felon trying to get his rights restored and how the court deals with that. They could set down guidelines for all of the lower courts that in light of New York, this is how the Court of Appeals is going to treat the New York test and give everybody some heads up on what they're supposed to do.
So, again, you've got April 12th. The oral argument's going to be held in the Southern District of Illinois, which is going to be held in East St. Louis. We'll obviously be tracking that and discussing that the following day and giving you the very latest as we get it there. But it's not just the Southern District, as Todd was laying out there. He also talked about how this, the laws in Illinois could very much be impacted by what happens in other court cases. So if Maryland's semi-automatic weapons ban is struck down as unconstitutional in Maryland, you can see that could very well impact Illinois' gun ban in Illinois. But what about other proposed measures? There have been measures proposed at the Illinois State House to, for instance, require microstamping on ammunition. And the steps that would entail and the minutia detail or things that could trip gun stores up or individuals up, it's pretty incredible when you look at what these types of laws could ultimately do. But there was a law in California that was passed that had some kind of microstamping, which again is a way to serialize individual pieces of ammunition. You've got that effort that's been filed at the Illinois State House time and time again. Well, I think there was a California court that actually Todd has talked about on his channel, Freedom's Steel, that really, I think he lays it out, doesn't allow for such legislation to advance even in a state like Illinois.
Throws a big wet cold blanket on it if they're paying attention. I think that what the court found was that when you add up these three features, the magazine disconnect, the loaded chamber indicator, and the micro stamping component that they made, that since 2013, not a single handgun on the commercial market's been able to meet that. So it becomes a ban on modern firearms. Again, I think that anything like that here in the state is going to face a similar fate. And I would wager to say that by the time we get through the Court of Appeals here on our stuff, we should have a pretty good feeling as to what's going to happen. The state of New Mexico just is wrapping up their session, and despite Democratic majorities and big grandiose plans for gun control, the state Senate out there took the position that there's no reason to be passing bills that are going to run afoul of the Supreme Court and simply be declared unconstitutional. So they've taken a much more wait-and-see pragmatic approach to it than what our legislators here have. But if they want to get, if they want to be froggy and jump towards all this stupid stuff, have at it. We'll be going to court. They will be paying for my lawyer's grandchildren to go to Harvard and Yale at taxpayer fees that we win out of them. And that's what we're going to do.
So again, Todd Vandermeide, conversation I had with him on Friday before I had Monday and Tuesday off. Back at it live today with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on WMAY. And don't forget iGold today, downtown Springfield. We'll definitely be covering that and get you the very latest, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow here on WMAY. Live and local, 6 to 9 each and every weekday. Thanks for hanging out, as you always do. And if you're on YouTube or Facebook, share it. Of course, we clip out videos as well. Just search me out, Bishop on Air, on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Just search Bishop on Air. All right, got to take a break. It is Springfield's Morning